You said that it was a little tricky at first to find your way back to the character, having heard so many people's impersonations, etc. So this time, now that you've presumably left the character behind for good, presumably, was it hard to leave the character? Was there part of yourself that you brought to the character, and therefore is there part of Gollum that will stay with you?
It's a really good question. I mean, when we wrapped on Gollum, there was definitely a sense of completing a circle and coming to the end of a journey with him, because I literally finished on the Friday and then started directing the second unit on the Monday. So it was I had to change gear very quickly. But now looking back on it and having been through, you know, promoting the movie and seeing it up there and seeing how that scene has been received by audiences, you know, it's occupied. You know, Gollum has occupied a huge part of my heart for a long period of time, and you know, the chance of making The Hobbit was always there for a long period of time, so he never really went away. So I do feel now, I mean, you know, never say never, but I think that is it really for him. So there is a sense of sadness actually, but then there's so many things that I've got room for now to explore and want to make room for. So yeah, you know, you have to say goodbye really.
Yeah, yeah. Talking of things that you want to explore, I was fascinated to read about a film, Freezing Time, that you've been working on, about Edward Muybridge.
That's right. I mean, that is actually sort of one of our many projects at the Imaginarium, which is my performance capture studio. But that's perhaps going to happen later on. The one that is more current is George Orwell's Animal Farm, which is what I'm directing at the moment, and we're in an early stage of pre-production. We're developing the characters. It's all going to be performance capture driven. So that is this year what's happening for me, and we've started to cast that movie, and we'll be shooting that towards the end of the year.
And you'll be directing.
And I'm directing that.
Will you be in it as well, or?
It's a possibility.
It must be quite hard to wear both hats at the same time.
Not so much. But it's just really, I think I've got to make a real decision about where I want to really focus at the moment.
Are you going back for the pickups? Will you be involved as a second unit director again this summer?
There's no plans to actually, because really what's left to do, Pete is going to be able to shoot entirely on main unit, so there's no plans for me to go back at the moment.
Will you go and visit, do you think, whilst everyone's over?
I would hope so, yeah, absolutely.
It must be hard to stay away.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And of course we're all excited about the DVD coming out and the Blu-ray, can't wait to have the movie at home. But the fans are particularly excited for the extended editions. We always look forward to that extra material. Are there any scenes in particular that you're hoping make it into the extended
cut?
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually really hoping that the scene of the young hobbits at the beginning, where there's a little more time spent in Hobbiton, and I'm really rather selfishly hoping that there's a scene which will include all my 3 children in.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I love the stuff in the Shire. I can't get enough of the charm of that setting, and it's delightful. Going back to just talking about the character of Gollum for a moment, one of the things that intrigued me about when you were sort of finding your way into that character, there's this dichotomy of him, obviously, the schizophrenic, the good guy and the bad guy, and I think people have a lot of affection for Smeagol, that there's a sweetness to him. I love the moment where you have him resting his chin like this. But we do see in this movie that Smeagol is, in many ways, as murderous as Gollum.
Absolutely.
He's quite happy to think about eating Bilbo.
Absolutely.
Given that there is therefore that dark side in Smeagol, is there any of the lightness in Gollum's side, do you think?
Well, when we were working on the character, we always decided that at first you think Gollum is the murderous, the visceral, the kind of the darker side. But actually, if you look at it, Smeagol is the much more passive-aggressive manipulator, really. And so, in a sense, if I was to be faced with them both in the room, or the same character, I think I'd much rather face Gollum, because at least he comes from a place of immediacy and a visceral kind of response. So you kind of know where you are with him, really. Whereas actually with Smeagol, he's a lot darker in the sense that he is really tricksy.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Andy.
Thank you.